What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. Now, I would like to thank the viewer ESCLAD for sending this little gem to me on Twitter. Does everyone remember hearing all these remoaners like Dominic Grieve over the last few weeks and months shouting how a WTO Brexit was never discussed during the 2016 referendum campaign? Well, it seems someone has took the time to fact check that ridiculous claim we already knew was wrong and collate video proof that has been posted by the pro-Brexit group Change Britain. Now, of course, let's not forget the most important thing here. Even if no one discussed the WTO Brexit before the vote to leave in 2016, the people voted to leave and have reaffirmed that vote in subsequent general elections and European elections. So, what was said in 2016 is a moot point. Leave won, that is the end of it. But for argument's sake, videos like this exist. So let's take a look at who was talking about a WTO Brexit back then.
And what was not debated in 2016 was the likelihood that we would end up leaving the EU with no deal.
Then, of course, there are those who'll argue that we could pull out of the EU and fall back on the World Trade Organization rules.
There's relying on our existing membership of the World Trade Organization, where, like Russia or Brazil, you put nothing into the EU but get nothing out in terms of preferential access. That's the WTO model.
Okay, you activate Article 50.
You're going to activate that immediately?
You're going
to activate that immediately?
That is what, if British people vote to leave, that's what we should do.
On the 28th of June, you will activate it at the European Council.
That's what we have to do. What would happen next? You have 2 years to negotiate. At the end of those 2 years, you are out, and you have to operate under World Trade Organization rules.
And at the end of that 2 years, there is no guarantee that agreement will have been reached, but our exit would be automatic.
If we vote to leave, the clock starts ticking on 2 years. If we haven't negotiated a new trading arrangement with the European Union in 2 years, and you said this yourself, Nigel, we revert to what are called World Trade Organization terms.
What would happen if that deal to leave wasn't done within 2 years? Our current access to the single market would cease immediately after 2 years were up. If we vote to leave, we are facing potentially a decade of uncertainty. 2 years to get out of the European Union, 7 years to negotiate a trade deal with the European Union, a free trade agreement, or WTO rules. All of these are doable, and people who want to leave the EU should decide which they favour.
The electorate will have spoken. We will have to invoke Article 50. Once you invoke Article 50, it is a one-way street to the exit, which will happen in 2 years with no agreement of any kind at all, if necessary. And what was not debated in 2016 was the likelihood that we would end up leaving the EU with no deal.
Well shit, this is a fucking slam dunk, guys. Not only people like George Osborne and David Cameron said it in the lead up to the 2016 referendum, but the undemocratic fuckpigs Dominic Grieve and Phillip Hammond said it in the House of Commons and on TV. Of course, the BBC, a public broadcaster, had all this footage and knew about it long ago, but instead they thought it was a better idea to push the mainstream media's narrative that no one ever discussed the WTO Brexit before now. Therefore, no one voted for it. If ever the world needed proof the entire UK media, Phillip Hammond and Dominic Grieve are lying traitors, then this is it. It cannot be argued right now. This proves beyond any doubt their obvious bias against Brexit. Not that we actually needed any, to be honest. We have known this for a while. But just like what they vote on, this pair of shitweasels Dominic Grieve and Phillip Hammond choose to remember whatever suits them at the time. I would bet money on it right now, no media host will hold their soy boy balls to the fire for this blatant load of bullshit, and the media watchdog won't do fuck all about the biased mainstream media broadcasters that continue to pump out lies and scare stories to push their undemocratic agenda. The UK media might have actually surpassed CNN and MSNBC with their behaviour right now. Well, I'm going to end the video there, guys. Before we go, let's see Phillip Hammond and Dominic Grieve discuss a no-deal Brexit in 2016 one more time, as it's absolute fucking gold.
And what was not debated in 2016 was the likelihood that we would end up leaving the EU with no deal.
And at the end of that 2 years, there is no guarantee that agreement will have been reached, but our exit would be automatic.
The electorate will have spoken. We will have to invoke Article 50. Once you invoke Article 50, it is a one-way street to the exit, which will happen in 2 years with no agreement of any kind at all, if necessary.
And what was not debated in 2016 was the likelihood that we would end up leaving the EU with no deal.
That was brilliant. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. Remember to leave a like, subscribe and share this video as it helps the channel a lot. And I will see you all in the next one.